I had listened to so many different stories and from families, from mostly from women from low-income families about the struggles of working at a low-wage job. So in the summer of 2015, when the session ended, I took on a job at a big box retailer. When I applied for the job, I allowed them to give me flexible wages, and I said flexible hours, and I said I could work up to 40 hours a week. But I worked around parents who were scheduling their day based on having to come to work. I worked around young people, many of them single parents, who were putting their children in daycare, and then I'd say, well, are you going to put your child, did you have to put your child in daycare today? And so she said, yeah. And I've worked in places where I've been a manager of people and tried to be very considerate of families and scheduling, making sure that people, when they leave their children at home, they're okay. But in this position, you could never schedule anything and you could never count on the hours. And while I wasn't dependent upon that money and those hours to take care of my family, everybody, it seemed, around me was in a position of, I'm counting on these hours. And if I didn't want the hours, that they were willing to take them, but I was saying, I'm trying to get as many hours as I can. So while I didn't have to live in that moment, I know there are people every single day that live like that. And I'm hoping that this on-call scheduling will start to address that people will get some type of notice of 72 hours to know that they're not coming in. I think about, what does it cost us when we have kids and kids for care? We're paying for a slot. A mother doesn't have to go in. The child doesn't go in. That's a slot that could be open for someone else if they needed that. And there's a shortage of slots for children in daycare all over the state. I think about all those things and how it impacts families every single day. So it's my desire this year to make sure that we could work to stabilize families with this on-call scheduling.
I'm a full-time student majoring in liberal arts at Capital Community College in Hartford, Connecticut, and the only job that will hire me currently is retail. For the past 10 years, I have worked in this industry, and just like hundreds of thousands of people across our state currently do. Many of us make poverty wages. This, combined with unpredictable schedules, full a cycle of poverty that affects mothers, their children, students, single parents, and non-traditional students like myself. In addition, workers are expected to take shifts with little notice or have open availability or be on call like myself most days and have their shifts canceled the very last second. When our incomes are unstable, our families struggle to meet basic expenses and to arrange to have a healthy lifestyle that everybody's trying to push, and to care for one another and to take care of your children and take your children to the doctor and to buy healthy food. Today, we have to raise our voices and say that our time counts and that we deserve to work a fair work week.
This bill is about working families. 2018 is a dangerous time for our democracy in many ways. One destabilizing force that's been building for decades, that's now in full form, is undervaluing and undercutting our workers to the benefit of the wealthy. This bill is directed right at that. We know in child development that one of the most important things for emotional health is structure and routine. We tell parents this all the time. You've got to establish a healthy routine for your child, make things predictable, and then they can pay attention and learn. But when life is unpredictable for a child and they don't know where they're going next, childcare is different every day because it's not predictable, so you can't have the same person. You hurt that child's emotional development, you hurt the family's emotional development, and you hurt communities. This bill will help families, it will help communities, and it will help our children.
Right now, 1/3 of the workforce of this country is working under these conditions on this on-call stuff. Now, one of the main reasons why it's being implemented is the fact that if you give people less hours, like you'll give them less benefits. All these things are working against it, to the detriment of working people. And I just think that this bill is the beginning of something that we have to pay attention to, and many more things attached to it. And I hope that everybody really gets the gist of what this is all about. It's for the detriment of workers, and they're creating jobs that don't mean anything in the essence of trying to support a family.